Hello, everybody, and welcome to Point of View, your favorite Sunday sports stream here on our local establishment. I'm Bobby Munson, and joining me this beautiful Sunday, June the 1st, it's that beautiful man right beside me. It is Andre C. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm going to say this. I know it's a different day for you, but over here, it's Happy Melball Day here in Alberta as we celebrate the one of the ladies of OLE. And I know you got another day you're celebrating right now.
Yeah, so it's also a big happy birthday to my beautiful, wonderful wife, Shauna, today. So, yes, both her and Melball sharing the exact same birthday. So, happy birthday to both of you ladies on your special day here. Andre, we're also going to be putting up a special link in the YouTube side of things. We're going to have that up there for the entire show. So that is going to be pinned to the YouTube channels. I know you're going to want to talk about that later in the program as well, too, explain what it is. But even just briefly right now, if people want to go to that link, just give them a quick notice as to what that is.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, my best friend, since we were 15 years old, was diagnosed with ALS. I've watched this disease pretty much ravage him and take away every bit of independence he's ever had in his life. So we're doing the ALS walk on June 14th here in Edmonton. And if you want to get involved with it, there's many in different parts of Canada. There's different walks all throughout Canada if you want to get involved. But if you want, if you can donate, I would really appreciate if you donate to it. If you can't, that's okay. Just share the link out. That's all I really ask. Share the link out, because you never know who out there can support. So yeah, would really appreciate I'm doing the walk on June 14th with my buddy's mom and some other friends. So please, thank you very much. It's just something that's been very much affecting my life these last 3 years, because seeing somebody go through that is absolutely heartbreaking.
For sure it would be. And that is something we will, before the end of the show, we will bring it up once again. It is now officially pinned to the YouTube channel. So if you can, go be a wonderful person and do something good for others here when they truly need it, because that's what we're all about. We're all about that love and support. So go and make sure that you support good people and the fight against these horrible diseases. But on a more positive note, though, my friend, we got a whole lot going on in the week of sports. Lots to talk about in sports, particularly the big topic that, of course, is the topic of choice here tonight is going to be about that Stanley Cup Final rematch. I will say right now, if you're currently watching this, stay tuned. We will get to that. It is our big topic of the day, so we will be coming to that later in the show here, especially once we get some of those hockey fans trickling into the live chat. If you're watching this on replay, make sure Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern time, you can join us and have your opinion on the week in sports alive in the chat. Keep it active. But if you are watching on replay, leave us a comment. Get involved in the conversation. In fact, if you leave us a comment, maybe we will read your comment out live at the next Point of View as well, too. So opportunities abound to have your voice heard when it comes to Point of View and the world of sports. And speaking of that world of sports, I would be not doing my due diligence here on this particular show if I didn't kick off with a little bit of the footy talk here, Andre. So I know you got to buckle up. I got to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of footy, starting with yesterday's Champions League final matchup. The highlight of the Champions League final matchup, Lincoln Park opened up as the band that opened the whole thing. Man, football could take a lesson. I really prefer my rock music, and I think that the presentation of having Lincoln Park open at the Champions League final yesterday, I think it was outstanding. I really, really enjoyed what they put together there. I thought it was a lot of fun. Looked That's beautiful. Awesome. Yeah, what wasn't so beautiful? The game itself, because games in the finals are usually hard contested games between two top teams, especially the Champions League. Going into this, and I'm not taking anything away from Inter Milan saying that they're a poor team, but this performance was definitely subpar. This match against PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, ended with Paris Saint-Germain winning 5-0 in a championship final. This was not even a match. I know we were joking in the Discord yesterday. Mark posted the picture from The Simpsons where it's "Stop it, he's already dead." I mean, that's what it felt like. It was like beating a dead horse by the time this game was rolling on. Like, there was no way back for Inter. It was not the Champions League final people had thought it was going to be. But with that, Paris Saint-Germain becomes the 26th ever club to have successfully held the Champions League Cup in history. So congratulations, PSG, for making it all the way, being the top club for this season. Maybe one day my Manchester United team will make it back there, but that is a long ways in the making because, man, did we just not do very well. We ended up placing 15th in the league. We were beaten the Europa League final. We will have 0 European Cup games next year. This is maybe, I think, the first time the Manchester United have no European football next season. That's how bad we did. Now, with that said, it's time for the revamp of Manchester United. All of our players are technically up for sale. Nobody is off limits. The right price for the right player is going to get them sold out of Manchester United. We need players that are ready to play for the badge, as many of the previous players have been saying lately, including David Beckham, who said that he's a little bit put off by the actions of the current Manchester United squad, especially from their postseason tour of Asia recently, where we saw gestures like Amad Diallo actually flipping off the fans as they were getting booed off the pitch in the first match that they lost 1-0. Here's the problem. It's those types of actions that are really starting to irritate people. You've had a bad season. People are going to react negatively to this. They're used to a winning Manchester United side. And if you're going to let it get to you, that's the problems that we're seeing. That kind of gesture is not going to adhere you well to the fans. It's not going to adhere you well to the former players. And when you've got a guy like David Beckham, one of the world's nicest footballers to ever exist, telling you, look, there's a certain level of respect that they all had when they played for Manchester United. You didn't go there to play for European football. You didn't go there to play for yourself. You went there to play for that badge. And when David Beckham is reiterating this to the world, that you were there to play for that badge and that respect needs to be shown to the club, you need to wake up, boys, because your positions are in danger for a reason. And as of today, it is official. We do have an official new signing to Manchester United. It is confirmed. Matheus Cunha, formerly of Wolverhampton Wanderers, with a 17-goal season during a struggling Wolverhampton season, is coming to Manchester United as a new attacking player for us, and he will take up the iconic number 10 t-shirt currently held by Marcus Rashford, who we've had on loan. So Marcus Rashford having to cough up his current squad number. And, of course, Rashford is looking for ways out, wants to go to Barcelona. Not sure if that's going to happen, but he is opportunities to get himself out of his current situation in Manchester. There's also rumor that Antony for Manchester is going to be subject to a bid from Real Betis, which would be good. And also Jadon Sancho's situation is still not confirmed. Chelsea are asking Jadon Sancho if they commit to the having to purchase him from Manchester United situation that they're in. They took him on loan. Now they have an obligation to either purchase him or send him back. If they send him back, it's £5 million that they have to pay Manchester United to send him back to United. If they choose to buy him, I think that they owe Manchester United £25 million, but their biggest concern is the wage that Jadon Sancho is on, because he is currently on, I believe, £300,000 per week at the moment through Manchester United. Chelsea's highest wage currently from their top stars is about $180,000 per week. So Jadon Sancho's current wage is that much higher than the highest paid player at Chelsea. So this is the concern. They would need Jadon Sancho to actually take a reduced per week wage to stay with Chelsea. Otherwise, they're better off to pay the $5 million to Manchester United to send him back. And then we're stuck with the problem of a £300,000 a week player that doesn't fit the system that we're playing. So there is still a lot of headache with Manchester United this summer. Ruben Amorim, the manager, has asked players to come back from a postseason early, to start the training early. He wants top-level fitness. He also said that anybody who does not adhere to this and does not show that fitness this going into this next season will be subject to being dropped from the team. Now, in the one piece of good news for Manchester United, they ended their postseason problems with a victory in Asia there, a 3-1 victory that was quite the talk of the town, because a lot of the players that fielded that in that game were the youth players for Manchester United. Players as young as 17 years old, right up to being about 19, 20 years old. These youth players on their way up. And here we go. Cheeto Obi Martin, 17 years old, purchased from Arsenal just last summer, came into the squad here and scored two of the most beautiful goals you could possibly see. One was a nice strike. He turned the defender and with his left foot hit the ball in the back of the net. Beautifully done. Something our strikers haven't been able to do all season long. And then after a nice sailed in ball comes to Cheeto for the second goal, he just hits it with the top of his head like an absolute pro, totally relaxed, and puts it in the back of the net. It's 2-1 United. And the third goal comes in the form of 17-year-old defender that we purchased from Arsenal as well too, Aiden Heaven, getting himself his first goal for Manchester United as well. So positives to be seen out of the youth there. And with no European football, it might be the youth that we have to turn to. We'll get a few new players in, but we need to start developing these young players because that is the highlight of what we going. We're going to say hello to Bobby Stats joining us in the chat as always supporting, always loving. We appreciate you, Bobby. Thank you for stopping in. But yeah, that's what I've got in the world of footy right now, Andre. It's been an interesting world. I know that you've been getting into it a little bit more, listening to Mark and I, and a Reading shirt coming your way soon.
In the next couple of weeks, there'll be a Reading shirt coming thing, and I'm also thinking about getting a Man United shirt because again, it's two different tiers, right? So yeah. Nobody can get mad at me for cheering for two different tiers, right?
You're supporting your friends in this case, is what it comes down to. You
know? So yeah. I got a question. So
yeah, go for
it. You say it's Champions League's final, right?
Yes, yeah, Champions League final.
But with the Champions League, is that different? Is that different from the Champions League, like in English football? I'm so confused by it.
Okay, so you've probably heard us talking about the division below the Premier League that, say, Manchester United play in. The one division below is called the Champions Division or Champions. Yeah, it's the Champions Division. It used to be First Division or whatever it was, but now it's called the Championship Division.
Yeah, I hear a reference because like you have Premier League, Champions League, League One, League Two.
Yes,
they're called Champions League. But when you talk about Champions League final, I'm like, it's not
so
that, right?
It's getting misconstrued. So it's actually called the Championship Division. The second division below the Premier League is the Championship Division. The Champions League is entirely different. So the Champions League is kind of the top clubs in all of Europe, and your way in is winning your division. So again, this year Liverpool won the English Premier League, so they're through for sure. Typically the top three teams in the English Premier League from England go through, but because this year there was so much dominance from English teams in the Champions League, the Europa League, with Tottenham winning the Europa League, it meant that it opened up 5 slots to the Champions League. So the top 5 teams in the Premier League are going into the Champions League next season. And because Tottenham beat Manchester United in the Europa League final, it opens up an extra slot. So they are now in there as well too. So where for the first time ever, there will be 6 English Premier League teams in the Champions League next season. Now, below that, we also opened up some slots to what's known as the Europa League. So the next kind of division below for top clubs in Europe is called the Europa League. And that one, if you end up winning the Europa League, that's what sets you into the Champions League if you didn't place in the top slots or whatever. And then it also opens up. So the Europa League winners, Tottenham, will actually play in the Super Cup, which will be them versus the Champions League winners. And I believe that they will also then play against Liverpool, if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to the Community Shield or something. Or no, I got that wrong. That's the FA Cup. Sorry, that's entirely different. But Europa League will go to the Champions League.
I know FA Cup. And I'm sorry, because of Welcome to Wrexham, I learned what the FA Cup is. Because I apologize. I know those words are evil. Word is evil here. But that's how I learned about what the FA Cup is. But yeah,
and I appreciate shows that do that. Like, don't get me wrong, it will give explanations because the world of football is hard to understand. Like, I was actually in the group like OV Ohio Valley Wrestling. Shout out to all the folks over there. I was in their chats this week during their live shows, their podcast and their live show on Thursday for a little while, chatting with fans and everything like that. And at one point during the podcast, they were actually talking about footy, but they weren't quite sure how it worked, like what constitutes getting into the World Cup versus this guy. And then I popped in and I started dropping the wisdom there that I bring to the table. And all of a sudden I was making lots of friends in the chats and everything. And, a lot of them have come over and subscribed here on OLE as well as over to Prairie Pro Wrestling as well too. So, I mean, man, I met some cool people this week. It's been awesome. So I'm happy to see that. And hopefully they continue to support the channel. And I find my opportunities to head on over to those live chats and talk more with like-minded pro wrestling fans. But yeah, it's a weird system.
I was gonna say before you keep going, I'm gonna say, speaking of WWE, I get to see Hollywood Haley J next weekend. She's
nice.
She's in Calgary and Edmonton on Friday and Saturday for RCW. So hell yeah.
Oh really? Oh nice. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Maybe one day you could do interview wrestlers. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be a problem if I was to reach out to a lot of them. I'm sure there'd be an opportunity.
I'm already going to be asking a question of one of them on Saturday.
There you go.
For an eventual episode.
But has she been at OVW lately? Because again, every time I've tuned in recently, she hasn't been as involved there because she's been working with the NWA.
Yeah, I think she's been doing a lot more NWA, women in wrestling, stuff like that. It's where her primary thing is. But again, that's I think for a lot of us, that's where she became famous because of her involvement with the wrestlers and everything. So with OVW, but yeah, I plan to her about an interview with her, not on the night I meet her, but down if we can set something up on here.
Yeah. Bobby saying you could bring her in for a match of Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. That would be a great plan. I mean, she's a great talent. People know who she is, and they're looking for opponents for Giselle Shaw. So why not? That would be a great opportunity right there. So, yeah. But I mean, that's my world of footy anyway. I mean, we can move on from there. I know you were saying something happened in the world of basketball. Maybe we should mention that here quickly.
Yeah, just a quick, because I am a basketball fan. I follow when it's during the playoffs, so I kind of know. I have a couple buddies out in Ontario, Matt and Boris from the A Plus Productions that I do work with. They are huge basketball fans, so I do follow it, see them, and then talking about it. But yesterday, after screwing up another Collision broadcast by pushing them super late, we had the Pacers eliminating the Knicks to win their conference, and they're going to be facing the Oklahoma City Thunder in a NBA championship final. That's like two teams I don't think I've even heard of sitting in the finals forever, because you hear certain teams you hear about. I've been hearing about for the last 10, 12, 15 years in those finals, and neither of these teams were them. So it kind of feels like new blood in basketball is kind of having a shift in new teams, which is kind of cool to hear about.
It is cool to hear about. And again, those games kick off as of this Thursday, June the 5th. First game looks like it's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time will be the tip-off to the Pacers and Thunders game 1, scheduled for potentially 7 games. It's a best of 7 series. If it does go to 7, then the final game would be on June the 22nd with a 6 p.m. tip-off. So yeah, go and support it. Again, basketball, great sport, born right here in our home country of Canada as well too. It's a Canadian sport originally that not a lot of Canadians support as much as they should. I believe that there should be more love for the sport here. It seems to have been adapted so much by America and other places and stuff that it doesn't feel as Canadian as the stuff that we have on ice and the stuff that we have in the snow. But basketball originally started here in Canada. The first ever basketball game was created here in Canada, so it is a Canadian sport by that definition. But it's like you said, new blood is good things too. Sometimes you like to see a little bit different, even though our main topic today is completely the opposite of what we're talking about. We will get to that in a short little bit, but good for these two teams. I'm excited. I love watching championship sports. That's my thing. Like, if I don't collectively watch religiously during the regular season like I do with footy, because there's a lot of commitment to watching a particular sport that often, then when it comes down to championship time, I love watching gladiators battle it out for championships. That is my favorite thing in the world to do. I don't care what sport it is. anytime, anywhere. When it comes to going after gold or whatever, love it. I am invested in those type of things.
Yeah, like I look at it, it's like you get too excited. Like I have friends who are basketball fans. Friend of the show, Rich King. He's a big basketball fan. He's a big Toronto Raptors fan. He was there during their finals win there, and was it 2017? He went out there for one of the games, and you get swept up, and even if I'll you get swept up in a championship run. It doesn't matter who it is, and you hear about, especially when you have friends who are into it. Again, it's just nice to hear about two teams that didn't really think, oh shit, the Pacers and the Thunder. Okay,
yeah.
this is not a final you would think about, right? Like it's
yeah, typically not, but again, awesome. At the same time, I'm invested to see who ends up picking up this glory in the NBA Finals. So make sure to go and check it out. That's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to it. But moving on from the world of basketball, let's give them a little update on the F1 there, Andre. I know that lots going on in the world of F1, including, I believe, didn't Netflix just drop a new season of the F1 show over there recently?
That was a month or that was back in March. They dropped the season. So
okay, I know ads just were coming up there for me, and then we just saw the trailer for the F1 movie with Brad Pitt the other day when we went to go see Mission Impossible in theaters. We saw that preview. Again, it's so not badly. Usually my thing, but I found myself having a couple of chuckles during that trailer as well too. I think at one point where they're kind of they're shooting at Brad Pitt, calling him the old man involved and stuff like that, and they got the picture of him versus the young guy that he's going to be racing against. And this woman walks into the room. She goes, "That's the old guy that everyone's talking about?" She goes, "That ain't an old man. That is a fine looking man right there." I chuckled quite heavily. It forced us afterwards to go double check what age Brad Pitt actually is, because we were like, okay, how old is this guy?
He's in his 50s, right?
He's in his 60s, man. Like, yeah. 60? I was like, yeah. I was just like, whoa. I was like, if we had only all looked that good when we hit the age of 60.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, no, that's a movie I'm very much looking forward to, because again, I've become an F1 fan these last few years. And they're doing that. Brad Pitt. I love watching Brad Pitt in movies. I think he's phenomenal. So you put it all together. I can't wait. And they actually just dropped Gran Turismo on Netflix there a week or two ago. He's the worst.
I know.
As I yell, L ass hat.
Bobby, it's laundry day. I had no other option.
I wore my good shirt. I wore some Jack and Juice.
Yeah, and a certified beauty.
Repping my boys, repping my boys. Actually, I wore B-Rat's the first ever shirt he put out. I wore that our LPW on Friday. Nice. When he back in the days when he was Spaceman Barry Grayson. I wore his Spaceman shirt. He saw that one.
You're going back there, brother.
he appreciated it. But yeah, but back to F1. I got up this morning intending to watch the race, but I had a bad night of sleep, so I didn't sleep during the race. But again, Oscar Piastri taking the checkered flag as always, with Lando Norris getting second place. Charles Leclerc coming in third. And Dappin, the man who's been running in that top mix, came in 10th this week. This week. Again, I know there was a crash out. And actually, one of the guys, Lance Stroll, the man who me and Mark fought about last week, ended up withdrawing from the race this week because he has to have surgery. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's out. He might be out for the foreseeable future. So it looks like Aston Martin might be having to pick up a new driver. And Fernando Alonso, Stroll's partner, the man I was saying, the Stroll's the better racer this year. Finally got 2 points this year. First time. It's his first race this year that he has pointed all year. He's now at points, so still behind his teammate who is not even racing. Fernando Alonso just not having a good season. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 9 races into the season, and he just got his first points. And this is decorated racers. Like, he is one of the best racers to ever race. And yeah, he's only getting his first points 9 races in. Come on, Fernando Alonso. Come on.
That's rough. You know what's not rough, though?
Ugh.
Say good morning to our good friend Basser joining us in the chat. Bass, how you doing, brother?
The Bass Man.
Happy, warm, smoky summer weekend to you. As yes, we apologize to everybody around the world that's going to be affected by the mass amount of smoke coming out of the prairie provinces here in Canada. We also wish nothing but the best to everybody who is in the northern parts of our country right now that are being affected by this as well too. It's a really rough time, and we just we want everybody to be able to get out of this situation well, healthy, and alive. So yes, and good morning, Peggy, joining us in the chat. Morning, y'all. Morning to you as well too.
The Marvel Talk. The Empress of Marvel Talk is here. I'll be seeing. So I have seen her 2 days in a row. And I was at wrestling with her on Friday. I was at wrestling with her last night for our early Melball Day celebration. And actually, me and her are going to see Karate Kid Legends at 1 o'clock today.
Okay, wow. And then I've already seen Karate Kid Legends, by the way, so we could chat later. But
I can't wait.
This is interesting because Bobby says it, and then we get Peggy backing it up. Break the truth is done with what?
The truth is not. Wow. The truth will not set you free anymore.
Like, this is just breaking. Like, this is. I gotta look now. Wow.
I'm looking this up right now. Holy crap!
It says he ready to quit wrestling.
It's also our truth. It's also our truth.
I mean,
that's weird.
Keep looking into it. I mean, this is huge. I know that some of the articles are reading that he was talking about quitting before getting his matchup against Cena. But okay, not renewing his contract. Interesting. I mean, granted, our truth is how old at this point? Confirmed by Fightful. Yeah, I mean, 53. Like, man, dude has done well for himself at 53, still in the ring in any way, shape, or form kind of thing, and not looking. I mean, he doesn't look like a slouch, man. I wish, again, you want to talk about people you wish you could look like and be as physically in shape like, man, 53 years old, our truth. I would take that. I would take that any day of the week, man. The dude has kept himself in phenomenal shape for 53. You'd never believe it, especially with how he works too. He's been phenomenal. Again, I hope not renewing his contract. I hope this just means that our truth is ready to call it a day on wrestling in a sense, in terms of in-ring. Maybe he'll start doing some spots where he comes and, works at some shows and stuff like that, where he does some chatting, talking, signing autographs, that kind of thing. Like, that's what our truth deserves at this point in time. He's put in a hell of a time in ring. I can't see this being that he goes off and goes and joins an AEW or something. Like, that's not what this is about. There anyway.
I could see him I could see him going to like TNA on like a part-time deal, being that that's where he was at for a lot of years before returning to WWE. I could see him going there because, again, there's the friendly relationship, so you could still appear on an NXT or something to do something ridiculous if he's with TNA, and he could Ron the Truth Killings could be back. But geez, I love him. He was so good. Like, that's like, and he just worked Saturday's main event with Cena too, on top of it all. So. Yeah. Okay.
Got his opportunity to go out the way he wants to. This is perfect for him. I mean, congratulations, our truth, on whatever you choose to decide moving forward. But you've given wrestling fans more than you ever needed to give wrestling fans, and for that, thank you. Well, that's all you deserve is thank you.
I was gonna say, if he joins the convention circuit, he can hang out with Kimmy Sokol. He can get her to be his agent at those signings and shit.
And then he'll start saying that he grew up a fan of Kimmy when he was a little boy.
Yeah, that's right, 100%. She's less. I'm pretty sure she's less than half his age. She's less than half his age.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, he makes that same joke about being a fan of Cena when he was growing up. So,
but I can believe that.
Yeah, well, at least they're in around the same age range anyway. So, yes, as far as WWE is concerned, I guess farewell to our truth for the time being. And as Bobby was saying, he deserves to get all of fame. Of course he does. 100%. And he'll get that. Don't get me wrong. That will happen.
and you have to open up spots because if you look at NXT, the women especially, but even for the men, there's some great talent like Ricky Saints most likely coming up, and I think Reigns could again. I don't think he's going to get into the R-Truth spot in the fact that he's just going to be a pure comedy guy. But he can be funny when he needs to. He can pull off that funny ship look and also get super serious and be like a great performer in ring. So like you got to kind of open those spots up for people. You know what I mean? So with Ricky Saints coming up, eventually Obafemi coming up, you got to cycle people out. It's just the way wrestling works.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, no, looking forward to seeing what's next for R-Truth. And again, I can't say enough thank yous for everything he's done inside that ring for wrestling fans over his wonderful career. So
I really wanted to see Little Jimmy and Big Jimmy kind of have maybe Little Jimmy sticks around to hang out with Big Jimmy there in the hang out with Big Jimmy there on SmackDown.
Yeah. As Bobby's saying, Ethan Page too could be on the main roster. Again, there's a lot of people at NXT that could go to the main roster at any given time. It's just whether or not what they have in vision for them. Like, thing is that NXT at this point, even though it is a smaller audience overall, a lot of those people are very well aware of who is on NXT and stuff like that. It's not like this is a kept secret independent company. It's not like Evolve. Like Evolve, people don't necessarily know who's on Evolve, but they know who's on NXT. So when they're at that NXT level, at bringing them up, unless they're quite green at the time and they still have time to learn, then a lot of them really are accoladed and ready for the most part to come up to the main roster at any given time. So there's a lot of names there. I mean, arguably you could put Obafemi there at any time. Whether or not that's the right move right now is another question, because you've got yourself a bona fide star that's really doing well for that particular roster. So again, you don't want to necessarily move everybody away from what they're doing so quickly, kind of thing. They've done it very much so with the women's side of things right now. A lot of the NXT women are heading the direction of the main roster, as you've seen both Julia and Roxanne Perez there already. And it seems like Stephanie Vaquer is on her way, or she did join, I think, SmackDown or something like that. Something along those lines anyway. So, you know, and then, of course, there's
Vaquer's on Raw. Vaquer's on Raw.
Okay, Vaquer's on Raw.
She's on SmackDown in the Mark Cox universe.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, that's right. I think that's probably where I'm getting it confused, is exactly right there. So, but yes, I mean, a lot of call-ups recently, and of course, a draft right around the corner. So, of course, everything's going to get shooken up regardless of that. So, and I'm sure we will probably have some form of draft coverage here on the channel once we get to that point in time. But all right, enough of the wrestling. Let's move on to the hockey, shall we? Let's talk about the big Stanley Cup Final matchup coming up. And we talked about this heavily, about the path that the Edmonton Oilers have had to take to get to this cup, and it is a complete repeat of what they did last season. Every team along the path has been 100% the same, and the finals are going to be a repeat of that as well, too. It is the sequel that we didn't know we were going to get. It is the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Florida Panthers in
Rocky
the finals.
2. It's Rocky 2 to Rocky 1. Rocky's coming back to win the championship. Oilers taking it down. I called this in round 1. I called Edmonton Panthers as the final. I called the second round perfectly. I called the third round perfectly. This is the championship I call, and I'm calling the Edmonton Oilers to win it in 6. Oilers win in 6.
Oilers win in 6. So where are they playing first? Here's the question. So because the game's coming up on Wednesday. Is it in Florida? It's in Edmonton. Okay, so first 2 games are taking place in Edmonton. Yeah. Okay, so they could take a really early lead by winning the home games there back to back.
Yeah, I'm calling Edmonton to win it in Florida. In 6, but again, that's just I would love to see them to win it in 5, win it at home, have that cup presented on Canadian ice. Hell yeah. But yeah, Edmonton's up first. Again, it's going to be an insanely good series. 2 teams that have been playing. Again, we talked about in basketball. It was fresh teams this year, right? It's a repeat. This is a repeat. But it's a repeat I think a lot of people did want to see. You're wrong. I can't even say your name. You're that wrong. I don't even know how to say your name. That's how wrong you are.
Go on.
Tutitari? I don't know. I don't know how to say this.
Either way, welcome to our new friend in the chat joining us here. So thank you for, even though you don't necessarily agree with Andre, we are open to all opinions here on Point of View. So it's
100%.
It's going to be an interesting. But yeah, again, like I know you said it. I mean, you've got to be the only person I know that definitely said that the path was going to be the exact same, getting to there, calling the Rocky 2 spot with them overcoming it. Again, the last thing that anybody in Edmonton wants is a repeat completely of last season where they made it all the way to the dance and gets there and doesn't do it. But
I love that. That's what it means. I gotta make it. I'll have to make a card up just a fat night for the next time you're here because I do cards up for our people. I'm not gonna be. It's not gonna be a Tutari. It's gonna be fat night, and that's what it's gonna say.
that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's again like are you going to any of the games live? Like, is that gonna be a thing that's happening, or are those tickets atrociously expensive?
Dude, resale market is insane. I know a guy selling drink rail tickets at the top of the bottom bowl for like, I think game 1 he's selling for like $3,500 for the beer, and the game 2 is like $4,000 for the beer. I'm like, fuck no. And that's what a lot of the resellers, the resale tickets, like it's pretty much you can't get tickets right now unless you want to spend an exorbitant amounts of money. And I'm like, I might hit up some. Depending on the weekend games, I might hit up some watch parties, like downtown. Go hit up like the for the out of town games. Like the out of town games is where I might because they open up Rogers for like I think it's like $5 or $10, and you go in and like watch the game in the arena with everybody.
That's not bad for that kind of price.
Yeah, that kind of appeals to me. But they don't really. There's the only weekend game. Literally, there's only one weekend game, and that's in Edmonton. So I'll probably not be sitting it there. That ain't happening for me because the other ones are on Monday and Thursday. Like the space out for this is insane. So we had a 6-day stretch from when the Oilers finished their series. The Panthers finished the day before. They finished on Wednesday and Thursday this week. Game 1 is Wednesday. Game 2 is Friday, which makes sense. And then game 3 isn't till the following Monday.
Wow.
And then while still in Florida, they're taking 2 days off. 2. And not playing on Thursday. And then it's Saturday. And then again you have a 3-day break. You have a couple days break, 3-day break to the 17th. You needed game 6. And then another 3 break. It's not going to finish till the 20th of June if it goes 7.
Yeah, June 20th, 6 p.m. if that's the case. So yeah, and also thank you to our new friend in the chat as well too. Just subscribed to the channel, saw that coming through. So thank you very much for supporting us here today. Again, we're live every 11 a.m. Eastern time every Sunday with this particular show. Feel free to always join us and be active in the chat and spread the word. If you love talking about sports, we are here each and every weekend. I know next
British loudmouth this week, but he'll be back
not this week, but next week Mark will be back here and he's going to be running his mouth because I'm sure I lost the Premier League predictions and I'm going to have to do the ice bucket challenge again. So at least this time it's not going to be in like minus 40 weather or whatever it was when we did it last time out. So I've got the benefit of doing this in the summertime at least. So football's tough. Footy is a lot better in that sense.
I'll give credit to Ed because Ed still hasn't done his video of the football losses from this year. But he did say he's waiting till winter hits again to do. So he's going to do his challenge video in the middle of our next prediction season. So,
yeah. And Parrish coming in saying if the series goes game 7, it'll finish earlier than last year's finals. So
that is true. That is very true. Last year went so long. It was crazy.
Yeah. Question coming in. What are your thoughts on the bottom 6 of both teams?
Again, I both teams have like full rosters. Like you look at both teams, like they're set through. This is one of the most like kind of like for at least on the forward side of it, one of the more evenly spaced matchups. You have like superstars like Draisaitl and McDavid on the Oilers, but again, like all these teams have 4 solid lines of forwards, both teams. So like it's going to be grindy all the way through, no matter who's on the ice. It's going to be like, don't get me wrong, Florida's 4th line versus McDavid's line is going to get stomped on. Same with Florida's first line versus Edmonton's 4th line. But again, they're solid through. Like, is it New just playing on? I think he's playing on the 3rd. He's playing center on the 3rd line right now. Like that just shows you their depth right now of that team. Like it's very strong. Like I think I could be wrong. I think Draisaitl's playing center on the 2nd line, so I think Nuge is on the 3rd line playing center. But it's crazy what these teams are gonna. It's what the finals are gonna look like. And the defenses are gonna be strong. It's the goaltending where I'm going. I hope. And again, Stuart Skinner's been playing an amazing series since returning with Pickard out. And Pickard picked up the slack for Skinner. Hyman's out with an injury. But again, it's going to be a really interesting series to play through. Again, I'm saying Edmonton in 6. That's my prediction. I got to go with it. Hopefully the cup comes back to Canada. Let's go. Florida doesn't need another.
Yeah, exactly. Bear saying to show how insane the two teams play one another. Oilers outscored Panthers by 5 last year and lost. These teams can play one night, play 1-0, 2-0, but you could also see 7-6 games. So yeah, interesting. Yep. My next question I'm going to ask, and this goes to both you, Andre, and to our chat as well too. In terms of star power draw to the NHL itself, in terms of putting eyes on these games and drawing revenue from television revenue, do you think that these were the best 2 teams overall in terms of drawing an audience?
Canada, any Canadian team in the finals, it's a draw up here. It really doesn't matter. Well, except Toronto. Nobody wants to see Toronto play. The team's garbage. They're garbage. But yeah, it's you look at it and it's a lot of like for the American market. Your markets you want to see in there are like I would probably say like Chicago, New York, Boston, because those are big TV market, big hockey market. Those are the what more like for teams that like really show that but bring it in. And then I know the NHL would want to see the NHL wants to see teams like Florida like succeed. Yeah, again, you have the best player in hockey right now, Connor McDavid. Yeah. So you can't 100%. Say he's an attraction to any hockey player, any hockey fan out there, no matter what your team is. Like he's the best player going, and this man's going after his 2nd shot at a Stanley Cup. In 2 years,
he's got a certain worldly appeal too, right? Like even like people who don't watch any sports at all have typically heard of Connor McDavid at some point in time. Even my wife, who doesn't watch necessarily, she knows who Connor McDavid is in the same way that she knew who Sidney Crosby or Wayne Gretzky was, kind of thing. Like that's the kind of level that McDavid has gotten himself to the point where he's got an appeal. And like, to Parrish's credit here, saying that, if you can't sell a game on the appeal of, having one of the strongest players in the world that's got to that kind of infamy, then, that's something, a serious problem internally that you have with the NHL as a whole. So, sorry to cut you off, Roger. I kind of took that.
You're right. I think you also look at it like I listen to podcast called Post Wrestling, and they do talk about like some of the NA like times when they kind of comparing it with when wrestling gets preempted. They talk about the NHL doesn't usually preempt them, even though it is on TNT. It's on TNT. It doesn't usually end up preempting collision and stuff because it doesn't. It draws in the States in the same way, right? In the same level that wrestling does. Where if basketball is on, shit's getting preempted because basketball ranks in the ratings in the States. It's just big ratings down south.
Yeah, and again with basketball, the ratings aren't exactly breaking the bank here in Canada for basketball, but hockey's a different ball.
Yeah.
Again, Canadians are going to watch the Stanley Cup Finals probably regardless of who's in there, but I think that you'll find even more casual fans tuning in knowing that there's a Canadian team involved, and I think that's where it benefits, especially from your Canadian markets, to have a Canadian team involved, because there's one thing Canadians love is when one of our teams makes it into any tournament final and has a crack at gold or silverware or whatever it is. And I think that we will see those numbers uptick for the NHL during this one. But
silverware.
Something funny coming in.
You said silverware. I was like, what? You said gold or silverware. I was like,
well, I mean, again, the cup is technically silver, right? Like, I mean, let's like get ourselves.
I know
it's like winning the gold, but
and like in some sports, it's literally I don't know what's. I've seen it. Like some sports, like hand out a silver plate. I've seen it a couple.
Actually, the community shield for footy is actually a silver basic plate kind of thing. So, I mean, that's what I mean. It's like you could say gold because we're so accustomed to thinking gold for first place when it comes to like Olympic sports and things like that and everything. But when it comes to most cup tournaments and everything, when you get to the final, when you win, you technically win a trophy that is silver, but you would get Stanley a gold belt. Yeah,
the Lombardi Trophy for NFL is silver. The championship is gold. It is gold. But yeah, like majority of major championships are actually silver. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, even the Grey Cup. Florida is not the most interesting name as an organization, but the players who come in the middle of the season have raised interest. Everyone wants to see the best players in the final games, which again is a great point being made here. And I think that is what a lot of people are getting. You're getting, like you said, when you're talking about the team throughout and have strong players throughout kind of thing, you're going to have that scrappy, really hard fought clash between two teams. It won't be like watching the Champions League final that we were talking about yesterday in footy, where you get a 5-0 finish to the whole thing. I believe this is not going to be a sweep. This is going to be a fight, and it's going to be scrappy throughout. Bear saying most trophies have duplicates, and that's why silver is more commonly used. And that's a great piece of information as well too. So I mean, a lot of those trophies are silver and throughout and everything, but again, it's that a customization. You're so used to saying gold when it comes to winners. It's so used to saying, yesterday's game was bullshit. That was total bullshit. 5-0 for a final champion game is not good ever. So but yeah, anything else you want to add to this hockey side or anything else in the world of sports, Andre, or chat, anything else in the world of sports that hasn't been covered here that you wanted to mention before we get to rounding off the day here?
Yeah, I got honestly, but I'm excited for the Stanley Cup Final. Again, I get to be within. Paris, he'll take a 5-0 Oiler win. He'll take 5-0 in every game for the Oilers if he can.
When it's your team, yeah. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. But when you're watching a game when it's not your team's involved, and you watch a game where one team gets destroyed, it's a little less exciting, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. But no, I'm really looking forward to the Stanley Cup Final. It's being within the city, one of the cities in the final, really does make it. Like I live just outside of Edmonton. It really does, but everybody around here is at Edmonton. I'm at work every day wearing my Montreal Canadian sunglasses, and I keep getting brags for it.
Yeah, but I bet you do.
It's all good. My team, like, it's only for another couple of weeks. We're the last Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup. Edmonton will be the next one. It's been 32 years. I hope it comes back. I really do.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we'll be rooting for them as well, too, over my side of the fence. Andre, before we get to the goodbyes, though, again, we're going to bring this up here, the ticker down below, as well as the pinned comment over on the OLE YouTube page has the direct link is available as well. Please,
I know you did has more questions. Fat Knight
has one more question. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. One more question. Who among you is a surprise player in the upcoming finals? Who could become surprisingly significant for the series? I'll let you take this, Andre. Again, this is more your forte, so yeah.
It's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. That dude has been playing such an amazing Stanley Cup playoffs. dude, that dude has just been like fire. I think for Edmonton, I honestly I don't really give a shit about Florida. They can eat my dick. Brian Nugent-Hopkins, I think, is going to be a huge, huge, huge presence for the Edmonton Oilers, as he has been all the way. Corey Perry, yeah, he's kind of become a staple here, dude. He is. I remember watching him in Montreal's run to the finals there a few years ago. Like it's just so weird that he's with Dallas, he's with Edmonton. He's just like, guy has just been so unlucky with championship finals, man. Yeah, Kapanen, yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of great players in this whole thing. It's going to be very interesting. He's your spirit animal. Right. So yeah, I mean, again, it everything puck drops this Wednesday. So make sure you're tuning in to the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Florida Panthers. The Stanley Cup Finals is on the horizon. Andre, as I mentioned though at the beginning of the show, we talked about this. I want you to plug it one more time because that's how important it is. The ticker down below, as well as the pinned comment over on OLE's YouTube channel as well. Please let everybody know what this is all about.
So yeah, June 14th, I will be walking in the ALS walk for here in Alberta, in Edmonton. I'll be walking. My best friend, we became friends at 15 years old. He was diagnosed with ALS 3 years ago, and it's just been a terrible last 3 years for him. Like, going from a guy who was biking, he would bike from one end of Edmonton to the other, all the way around the city, to now can just barely use his right hand. This is really all he's got left, and has to be able to sit up. It's a hell of a terrible disease. So I'm doing the walk June 14th here in Edmonton. The link is there for the donations page. If you can support, thank you so much. We would appreciate any donations you can make. $5. It makes a difference, man. And if you can't, just share the link out for us, just to see who can, to anybody if you can share it out to people that we may not reach, please share that out. We'd really appreciate it. Just trying to raise money to help find a cure for ALS, because I've seen people go through cancer. I've seen people go through other things. This is one of the worst, because it takes everything from you while you are still up here. You're still exactly who you are, and you lose everything in the meantime. It is the worst thing I've seen happen to somebody. And cancer is really bad too, don't get me wrong, but watching somebody waste away in this way is just so even more rough. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's rough anytime we see anybody go through anything that they can't control, anything like that. So again, I applaud what you're doing, Andre, for your friend, and I do wish him all the best, and I hope that they can do their best to find a way to find anything to help people in these situations. So please, if you can make that donation, that link is available there. It is on YouTube as well as on Twitch. So if you're on the Twitch side of things, it is in the chat there as well too. Like Andre said,
it'll be on my socials. It'll be good. I posted it in my Facebook for the parish and those that do have me on Facebook. I will have it up on my Twitter and my Blue Sky in the next little while, in the next hour or two here. And I don't know how to post it. I can do some. I can figure out a way. I'll figure out a way to do it on Instagram. So, but yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to show support by also sending those links out. So again, if you can't donate, at least do us a favor and send those links out and show your support there as well too. We do appreciate it. But in the meantime and in between time, Andre, that's that part out of the way. Why don't we talk about what you got coming up, my friend, and where the people can reach out to you?
Not much this week. I'll be back. Marvel Talk is this week off this week. I was on the the Wednesday the 11th for Thor Ragnarok. It'll be me and Ed, maybe Peggy, but she's going to be in the middle of some stuff, and that it's going to be hard for her to get off to work to do that show with us. So me and Ed for sure. Thor Ragnarok on the 11th. I'll be playing that again next weekend. But yeah, I'll be back here next weekend for Point of View, chatting with you, and hopefully our loudmouth Brit. Yes, Bassery did hear. We were chatting about it earlier. But yeah, it's crazy. Or his contract is not being renewed. He will. He's gone when his contract is up. But yeah, I'll be back here next week. Coming up later, it's now June, so coming up later this month, I'll be debuting my new series, Diving Deep with Andre C, where I will be chatting with local independent professional wrestlers. I have a bunch of local guys already pointed out. I've got a retired local professional wrestler already lined up in one, the Irishman. I know it's been one of my best friends for the last bunch of years. Come check that. We'll be out. It'll be out in the next. I'm planning to do it as a live stream on the weekend, as long as I can make schedules work with my first guest, which would be the prospector Wes Barker.
Ooh,
just heading down to Alabama now to ply his trade down in the wrestling in the United States. So I want to get his opinion to talk about that. I've got a bunch of other people. I know the local referee Ben Uman. He's going to be joining me on that interview. I want to talk. Ref Ben, I want to talk about the production side of professional wrestling with him, because I know he works a lot of backstage stuff too. So I want to get learn a lot about that. Got a lot of pro wrestlers coming. One of what I'm really excited for, Christian Starr.
I wonder who else works backstage at those types of shows.
Christian Starr will be on the show late in the fall, and I will be wanting to talk to him about his trip to Japan this coming up summer. So lots of stuff coming soon for that show. So Andre C will be coming to you first episode this month with Prospector Wes Barker. So I'm very excited to do it.
Awesome. I'm so looking forward to that, Andre. Again, you and I know a lot of the same circle when it comes to the scene here in Western Canada. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing from a lot of these great people that I also heavily respect as well too. So looking forward to your new show here on the channel. We're going to talk about that channel in just a moment, but before we get there down below is the socials for myself, Bobby Munson, where you can reach out to me as well for what I've got coming up. Man, this is a busy week here at OLE, and I am in the heart of it. So you're going to be able to see me as always on Thursday night with Papa Spokes doing Ring Respect Radio. This week we have got a live interview with IPW New Zealand wrestler. He is Jake Sheehan. Going to be a great interview. Make sure you tune in live for that. Get your questions in for Jake Sheehan this Thursday night. Friday, you're going to be able to catch the latest episode of Killer Cuts with myself and Astra Pizarro, where we're going to be reviewing the movie Sinners, which I'm telling you, I'm going to be debating this for the entire year, whether or not it's my number one movie of the year right now. Whoa, I saw one this weekend that punched above the grade and made me question whether it is my favorite or not. I've got one that's like right there that I'm like, oh, is it not?
It is for me.
But,
it's so far this year. I've seen some great movies this year. Sinners is my movie this year right now.
I know, but I saw this movie Bring Her Back yesterday, and oh my God, it is so messed up and different and just crazy to a way that I can't even explain it. I don't want to explain because I know that Asher and I will be talking about that one as well on an upcoming edition of Killer Cuts as well too. So stay tuned for that. You're also going to be able to join me.
That Bloodlines? Are you talking about Bloodlines?
No, we already reviewed Bloodlines. That came out already.
That's already out. Okay, that's already out.
Yeah,
you're right.
No, Bring Her Back is actually directed by the same guys who did Talk to Me, which are the Australian duo who were YouTubers before and got into directing. So they are going to be they did this movie, and oh my God, it is something. It is so different and awesome.
When you said Bring Her Back, I assumed you were talking about an actress. They brought an actress back to prominence or something. I completely messed that one up. Okay, so it's called Bring Her Back. Okay.
Yeah, the title of the movie is Bring Her Back. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's going to be one that I'm going to be paying. Right now I'm balancing that and Sinners is what is the best of the year. But again, my thoughts on more of that coming up. Yes, sorry.
Did you hear Sinners? They've announced Sinners 2. It's being worked on.
Oh yeah,
dude,
can't wait. Can't wait.
They can do. There's so many ways they can go. They can do prequel with the vampire dude. They can his story. They could do that, or they could go the time from Sinners forward.
So many things.
So
Either way, I trust Ryan Coogler with everything he does.
The history of the brothers. They can do the history of the brothers. What happened when they left? What happened previous to the movie for the brothers? There's so much you could do with that story.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
Can't wait for you guys to check out this Friday. Myself and Astrid doing that, as well as I've got something else cooking. So if you've not checked out before, I've had a couple of shows of Let's Rock About It, where I do, music talk, interviews, reviews. I'm going to be going back 30 years in the past, 30 years, and reviewing some of the best rock and metal albums from 30 years ago, going back to my time in 1995 in the old Bobby collection. And coming up this Sunday, I'm going to be dropping the very first one, where I'm going to be reviewing 30 years later Silverchair's Frog Stomp album. So stay tuned for that release coming up this Sunday here on the channel as well too. But everything can be found on OLE Podcast on all social media, as well as YouTube and Twitch. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, give us a thumbs up. And if you're watching on replay, to leave that comment in the comment section below. Checking those comments all the time, getting back to you folks. We always want to make sure to engage with you, and that's what it's all about. We engage with you here. We engage it with you on all the shows here on our local establishment. And you know what, Andre? We got so many damn shows this week. We got one booming calendar this week, and that's how we're going to leave you. That's it for us on Point of View. We're leaving you with the weekly calendar. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in a week's time.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin and I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me the storm is coming, so take off all your lies.